We'll just talk about Aurora.
Yeah, we can freestyle. We're used to freestyling about Aurora for 10 minutes.
What's going on, guys? So I'm here with Aaron from Departures Capital, and today we're going to talk about Aurora Cannabis. So we're going to be looking at Aurora. We're going to be doing some technical and chart analysis. We're going to be talking about their upcoming earnings, their guidance, and whatever else we could talk about this company. Do you want to add to that, Aaron?
No, I mean, other than what's this Aurora cannabis you're talking about? I've never heard of them.
Yeah, this is the first time we're talking about Aurora Cannabis. This might be a new company to you guys, but this is a new and upcoming company that we want to bring to your eyes. I don't know, but whatever. Yeah. Let's get started with Aurora Cannabis. But before we get this video started, don't forget, give us a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of what you think is going to happen with Aurora Cannabis, especially in their upcoming earnings. And also, don't forget to subscribe to Departures Capital and to Investing Hustler.
Let's start talking about what Aurora Cannabis has been up to in 2019, because, we did have a good start to the year. The cannabis sector as a whole had a good start to the year, but then it was almost like March, April was the turning point where the stock markets kind of continued to take off, or at least hold their ground, go to all-time highs. The cannabis sector just completely decided to downtrend. So I'm just going to throw this in here for anybody who's watching. I follow trends. So, before, the stock market and the cannabis sector used to go up together. And that was kind of the way things went. If the general markets are going up, then growth tends to outperform. And we saw they were going up together, and then the cannabis sector exploded, the S&P 500 going up slow and steady. And then as the markets flatlined, the cannabis sector, that gap between the performance on the S&P versus the cannabis sector narrowed. And I wanted to mention here that recently the cannabis sector, in terms of the yearly performance for 2019, the cannabis sector actually crossed that line, and we're actually below the yearly performance on the S&P 500. So we've completely narrowed that gap, which is a reason why, I think now might be a good time to start to take a look at those cannabis stocks, because we're no longer, we've lost that kind of hype that we had at the start of the year. So anyways, what's the case for Aurora Cannabis, and what has it been up to so far in 2019? Well, maybe you want to talk a little bit about Nelson Peltz, because I feel like that was a big reason why the stock ran up, and also a reason why the stock downtrended.
Yeah, well, at one point, Aurora Cannabis was up 90% year to date. And pretty much ever since that, Aurora Cannabis has had a huge sell off, has been down 35%. Year to date, Aurora Cannabis has been up 25%, which actually still isn't bad. And pretty much it has to do with how volatile the markets are, and also sometimes we have news, like for example what you brought up, Nelson Peltz. People are excited about that, or Aurora has a billionaire investor brought the company up, and then what happens is Aurora releases disappointing earnings, and then Afria gets these allegations, and then CanTrust, it's just pretty much the whole sector moves as a whole. So if one company does really good, especially Canopy, Canopy is one of the biggest companies. When they got that Altria investment, the rest of the sector blew up. And then we have allegations like what Afria had to deal with. I don't think there was one company, maybe I think only Planet 13 was in the green, and the whole sector was going down. So from that high point, Aurora Cannabis has gone down 34%. So, but it's just a very volatile market, which is why a lot of bag holders get burned, and swing traders. I mean, I've made pretty decent money just from the pot sector. So I've made over $35,000 collected profit just from swing trading in the pot set in the. I don't want to say MJ, because every time, I don't know if you're having this trouble, but are your videos getting demonetized? If you include the word cannabis in the title or anything related to that?
Yeah, I tend to stay away from that right now, to
Yeah,
be
so
honest.
even now, I try not to even say it's like a swear word, a Mary Jane. You can't say it. So the whole pot sector.
Well, no, I was going to say I totally agree with you when it comes to, breaking news within the sector, because when we go up, the markets go up, the cannabis sector goes up. Usually it's fueled by, a huge investment. And then there's speculation that, oh, what's the next company that's going to get that investment? Is it going to be Aurora? Is it going to be Aphria? Is it going to be whatever? And then the traders and investors and everyone just buy up all the stocks because they think that you're the next one. And then on the flip side, when something negative happens, like for example, the CanTrust hold regulation that they were growing before they had their license, then there's speculation. What's the next company that's going to get taken down, right? So then the whole sector sells off. So that's just the way like the markets go when it comes to these highly speculative industries. And we still don't know if they lose their license, the stock's probably going to go down even more. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, for your sake, I hope they don't. I won't. I know. If they go to
at this point, though, I'm happy if. Well, I'm obviously not going to be happy if the company goes down, but those losses are written off, and who knows? The company could make a miraculous recovery, and then that'd be a cool story to tell. But I've held Hive blockchain for anyone who wants to see one of the worst investments in history. Search Hive blockchain.
Held that.
So we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about Aurora cannabis.
We'll edit that out. We don't need people to know that.
I'm completely open, so I don't care. But I think it's a funny. I tell this story all the time. Actually, I've told it before. It's my worst. Biggest.
What made you buy it?
I wanted to get into crypto. I thought the miners might be a good idea. I realized that Ether pulled back quite substantially, and I was like, you know what? I did extensive research on the company, and I still own some shares in Hive blockchain at 30 or 40 cents or whatever the hell it's trading at now. But that's a whole different story.
I've only invested into like major cryptos like Bitcoin, Litecoin.
Yeah.
I think
it's funny. I've never even bought a crypto, but I did buy the companies that mine it. So they have like the computer software. But anyways, let's jump back into this Aurora cannabis video and let's talk about the recent news, because we did have some guidance when it comes to the next quarter. And what do you think about the guidance? I mean, I think I'll just say real quick, I think it's good they're going to have more cannabis ready for sale than expected, but revenue numbers are so-so.
Well, didn't they say that they're going to be doing close to 100 million to 107 net revenue for the quarter?
Yep.
Which year to year, I think that's almost 10 times growth.
I did notice though that the average revenue estimate for analysts was between like 107 to 113. So they're actually.
I thought it was 90 to 90.
Oh, really? Well, I could be totally wrong then, but for this quarter personally, like why don't we just give our opinion as to how you feel like this quarter is going to go and what.
Honestly, I feel like I don't think it was a good move by Aurora. Maybe it was a good move for that day because it brought up their price by like 8%, 10% that one day.
Yeah.
But let's say they do miss those numbers. Let's say they only hit 99 million, then the stock will plummet. It's going to go down because now we have high expectations for this upcoming quarter. We already know what to expect. So if Aurora said something like, oh, we're going to release like $95 million, we're going to have $95 million worth of gross revenue, and then they went out and they had like 100 million, investors would be happy, and then the stock price would probably go up. So I think they set the bar a little high now, and like the only way people will be impressed is if Aurora goes above their guidance. So I don't think it was a very good move by Aurora, but who knows?
Okay, so you personally think that they've, estimated that they're gonna have earnings that might be higher than what they actually have, is what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying like they might hit it dead on, but if they're a little bit below, it's not a good situation to put themselves in, because now they have to hit those estimates. And anything below that, then it's just very it's going to be very disappointing, because people now have high hopes, as opposed to setting the bar low, and then people are going to be like, I'm not expecting much, and then next thing you know, they release above 110 million, then investors will be very happy. So if they hit those numbers, it's going to be a very good thing for the company. But I just think before they did the complete opposite, where they said their earnings weren't going to be that great, and then they surpassed it, and then Aurora stocks went up because it was above expectations. Now we have high expectations, so
One thing though, I don't know if you not just revenue, but if you remember, they revised guidance in terms of cannabis ready for sale at 25 to 30,000 kgs, which was above analysts' top end of about 25,000 kgs. So that was a positive. And you
Yeah.
know, the way now in terms of like my opinion or whatever, I think that this quarter investors are willing to let mid to weak revenue numbers slide if they can provide good guidance, because at the end of the day, you know, let's face it, Afria is the first profitable Canadian LP in terms of large cap stocks, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
So that definitely puts pressure on the other LPs to turn a profit. And Aurora says, oh, we're going to be profitable by the end of 2019, positive EBITDA, et cetera, et cetera. But I think this quarter, you know, people want to see a clear path to profitability.
Mm-hmm.
And if Aurora can deliver on that, they have a chance at, you know, having a good day when the quarter comes out. But I do think the wild card will be, are we going to get any news about what the heck Nelson Peltz is doing? Has he done anything? Are we going to get a strategic
I
partnership
mean,
or
we've
anything
had
along the
news.
lines of that?
Cam Batley has spoke about it. He said that he went to New York, he met Nelson Peltz, and he had like a bunch of people like lined up to interview him or for him to interview. So I think they've already spoke to companies, but I think at this point Aurora isn't willing to sell themselves like short and too soon.
Yeah.
I think they're being patient and they want their company to be worth more. So then at that point the bid has to be a lot higher as opposed to selling out now. And
True.
then 10 years later, if they sold out then, they could have got a lot more money and gave up a lot less of their company. So I think that they're just thinking long term and they're not really looking for that big Constellation brand deal, because I'm pretty sure they could have landed that if they really wanted to, but they just didn't want to give up that much equity and that much
Yeah, that's true.
not as much money, when in like 5 years they could probably get double that money and give up half of what they're giving up. That's what I think they're doing. I'm not sure. And even Nelson Peltz spoke about how that Aurora shouldn't follow Altria, Hexel's or Canopy's path. Like they don't have to do what they do. They're Aurora. They're their own identity. So
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I love the fact that they're working with the UFC. I think that's going to be huge and undervalued. And if they keep up stuff like that, cementing themselves in the industry with such big popular companies to obtain better brand recognition, I think that's Aurora's like golden ticket to international growth and brand recognition and all that kind of stuff. So definitely like what Aurora's doing on that front.
one thing I do want to say though, Cam Batley, didn't he say they were going to be profitable this quarter?
He said by the end of 2019.
I think he keeps changing it because he keeps saying the next quarter after. So I thought they were going to be profitable this quarter, but it doesn't look like they're going to be profitable this quarter. We should do like an Aurora marathon.
Aurorathon. That's funny.
Here you go.
All right, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it one day.
About Aurora for like 10 hours.
I might. Oh my God. Yo, it's just like a 24-hour live stream of Aurora cannabis. But anyways,
so you could wrap it up. I guess I started it. You could wrap it up. I'll let you wrap it up.
All right, guys. So many things happening for Aurora Cannabis. You know that when it comes to Aurora Cannabis, tune into Investing Hustler or Departures Capital for your daily coverage on Aurora Cannabis. And remember, this video is for education, information, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy a stock because you heard it on here or you heard it from me. Buy a stock because you've done your own research, your own personal due diligence, and you're making those investment decisions for yourself. So thank you, Investing Hustler. It has been great. I'm happy we're collabing again. Yeah. I look forward to more videos in the future.
I wouldn't have made a video if we didn't collab. I've been slacking.
So we're out of here, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell. That's it. You know the drill.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.